Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Jocelyn. I am the founder of Fleurix. It would not be possible without my team. So if I could get you all to please stand up and everyone just give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. I am not an MC. I have hired people who are a lot more energetic than I am, but I just wanted to say hi. And one of my favorite parts about the event is meeting people, hearing what they get from the event, why they're here. So I just encourage you to find me and say hi. I'd really love that. We have a really full day of amazing talks. And logistics-wise, our MCs are gonna kind of give announcements throughout the day. We have a bunch of raffles, so make sure you stay. And if you need anything, most people that are wearing any kind of Fleurix shirt are either volunteers or super fans, so you'll be rolling the dice on whoever you talk to, but most people will be able to help you out. But with that, let's kick off the day. I'll hand it over to Tiffany.
Good morning. Yes, who's excited to be here? We have an action-packed day for you guys, and we are excited that you took time out of your busy schedule, because I know no one in this room is not busy, but you chose to invest in yourself. You chose to invest in your community, and we are excited to be here today. So, for a few logistics before we get started, we have the bathrooms. So down this hallway, all the way to the end, take a right, that is where the bathrooms are. We know schedules are busy and you have to sometimes step away for calls. If you have to do that, the coffee shop out here, right outside to the left, that's where we ask you take your work calls so we can make sure everyone in the room stays engaged. So we've got bathrooms, that's where you would take work calls. As we start doing raffles, the table is in the back of the room, so you'll pick up your raffle gifts there. And then one more call out, just to be mindful, we are recording this, and so just be mindful the camera is here, so as you're walking, try not to walk in front of it. So now, let's get this party started. You guys ready? Yes, okay, so I am excited to announce our keynote speaker. We have the amazing Latesha Byrd. She is the CEO and founder of Perfeqta, a boutique talent development consulting agency. She is a change agent and thought leader who empowers companies to create equitable and high-performing cultures. She has advised C-suite executives and developed workplace strategies for companies like YouTube and Aflac. And Latesha is also the founder of Career Chasers, a global coaching program that has empowered thousands of professionals worldwide. So help me in welcoming Latesha to the stage.
All right. We good? Okay. Good morning. How are y'all doing? Good. Y'all look amazing. What a good looking group of people. And y'all showed up early. And everybody has their coffee, water. Good? Okay, just blink yes if you need help. But all right, cool. Well, thank you for the introduction. I am just so honored to be here. I'm excited to really kick things off. I know when Jocelyn asked me if I wanted to be the keynote speaker, like, me? Of course. So I am really honored. Auntie is here. So Auntie, just stand up real quick. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Can y'all say, hey? That's my twin, y'all. So I have the pleasure of talking about wellness, which is a little bit different than maybe what you all were expecting for the opening keynote. But do I have any wellness girlies in here? Any wellness girlies in here? Okay, period. So When you think about the word wellness, what words come to mind? Just throw them out. Throw them out. Self-care. Meditation, relaxing. Mental health, refreshing. Balance. Sleep, fitness. Vacation. Or vacation. Right? Anything else? What was that? Me time, yes. Okay. Nobody said anything about beauty. Oh, it comes with it, right? Okay, she's like all of this. Nails, toes, getting your toes done, going to the nail salon, going to the hair salon, all those things, right? I know for me, I stay in the nail salon every 2 weeks, y'all, faithfully, okay? I cannot do a chip nail, nothing. But what if I told you all that we are doing wellness all wrong? What if I told you that there was a better way to do wellness? Any ideas on what that might look like? Wellness in today's conversation is about how to center yourself in your career. I'm going to be talking about a term called self-centering. Has anyone heard that term before? No. Okay. I think I may have heard a yes or a no. As you all can see, I will say I grew up in a Black Baptist church, okay? And so we do a lot of call and response. So this is not going to be your typical keynote. I'm going to ask you questions, and y'all just looking at me like, I expect y'all to respond, all right? I do want to just say that I am going to share a bit of my journey with wellness, how I went from surviving to thriving. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to get personable. I'm really transparent, and I'm going to be real and honest. Is that okay with y'all? Yes. Can I ask you all to do the same? All right? In no way am I accusing anyone, right, of working too hard, of overworking. You know your journey better than me. But I will say, as I am sharing some things today, a couple of words may come up: trauma, burnout, exhaustion, things that we may be experiencing or we are familiar with. So I'm just giving that disclaimer, okay? I encourage you all to take what sticks and leave the rest. If you have a notebook, this will be a really good time to pull it out. Or if you, like me, like to take notes on your phone, feel free to do that. Whatever you need for yourself today. But as I am sharing my journey, I'm hoping that it will allow you all to really think about and reflect on your own journey so that you can take some meaningful action to really center yourself in your career. So, hi. I'm Latesha, and I am a recovering overachiever. Where are my overachievers at? Make some noise, y'all. I know I'm not alone. We were taught to work twice as hard to what? Thank you. With that being said, I want to share with you all my journey of overachieving, how I recognized that it was being done to my own detriment, how I was putting the needs of others above myself, and how it led me to completely having to relearn and reframe my own concept with wellness, how I was living my life, how I was leading my team and my business. Now, I know that you all heard a very brief video, but I want to share. Sorry, is my hair hitting the mic? 1 second, you guys. Oh, it's the earring. Think about that. Should I take this one off? Okay. Okay. All right. Great. So I'll tell you all a little bit about my journey. I started my business at 25. Right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to school here. If it wasn't for my auntie who lives here, I would not have been like, oh my gosh, I got to come to Charlotte. I grew up in Raleigh, and I really started my career, my business here in Charlotte. But I started my business at 25, which was really focused on career coaching, career development. It led me into actually relaunching my business 3 years ago, which is what led me to feeling extreme burnout, which I'll tell you all about. But I am proud to say that in the last 10 years of starting a business, I have made every year multiple six figures in revenue. I've been able to really employ and hire phenomenal women of color. I launched a career coaching community called Career Chasers that focuses on career development for women of color. We grew that to hundreds of members, over 600 across 10 countries, 20 industries. And now today, I spend a lot of time advising and coaching and consulting companies on how to build emotionally safe and inclusive workplace environments so that we all can thrive. But what I'm even prouder to say is that I have went from a place of surviving to thriving. Now, any business owners in here, aspiring CEOs, anyone maybe have a side hustle, creative hobbies? Is everyone in here 9-to-5ers? That's great too. What y'all do for work? Okay. I'm like, okay, I saw she was like, me. Startup, there we go. All right, with that being said, when I first started my business, I was pulling a lot of all-nighters, and I was all about work. I was all about the hustle. I didn't do anything else other than work. That is really all I cared about. My whole personality was wrapped up in work. I did not have time for friends. I was not checking and calling on my family members like I should. Go ahead, Auntie. She like, should have been calling me. I was not calling my family and checking in. I was not dating. Why would I chase these men? I gotta chase the bag, right? And I think that's why I'm still single at 34. So if y'all have any brothers, neighbors, barbers, hook your girl up. But seriously, I was not making time for anything else other than work. If you saw me in the street or, outside, not like in the street, but if you saw me out and about and you said, hey, Latesha, how are you? I would say, oh, business is great. I'm working. I'm making money. Like, yeah, I'm working hard. Business is great, right? That's not how I was doing. And so it led me to capping on the gram. Do y'all know what capping on the gram means? Let me break it down. That's what the young kids say. Capping on the gram essentially means you have an online persona where you are showing all the accomplishments, the highlight reels, how great life is. Y'all look at me, I'm on stage, I'm speaking here, I'm traveling here. I have all of these accolades and awards, I'm doing all of these things, but in real life, this is me. I'm waking up, and let me tell y'all a typical day. I'm waking up, I'm jumping straight into work. No time for breakfast. I don't have time to eat. I have to get to work. I would make a cup of coffee now, would barely step away to eat lunch, and then I would be in meetings back to back to back. By the end of my work day, I was too tired to cook, yet alone think about what I wanted to eat for dinner. So sometimes I would eat a granola bar, a bag of popcorn, and I would just go to bed. Does that resonate with y'all? Yeah. Unfortunately. I was too tired to even think. I was so depleted at the end of the day. But y'all know why I kept working so hard? Because I thought about all the people that I would let down. My clients, my team. It did not matter if I was letting myself down. Now, I'm not going to tell you you should not work hard, okay? I believe in hard work, but not to your own detriment, not to the point where you are putting your needs away or disregarding those so that you can put others' needs above your own. And time again, that's what so many of us as women tend to do. So when I got to this point, I was like, I'm going to bed thinking about work. I'm waking up thinking about my to-do list. I am dreaming about spreadsheets in my sleep. I'm dreaming about business meetings. I'm waking up thinking I'm in a business meeting, y'all. It was not healthy, right? So it led me to therapy. But this is a question right here that led me to therapy. What's the point of throwing my all into my work to build this life for myself if I can't even fully enjoy it? 3 years ago, we made the most money that we had ever made. We were just a few thousands away from hitting $1 million in revenue. That is a really great thing, and I look back and I am very much so proud of that girl. But I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't excited about it. And when I look back to that person, I'm like, I didn't even have the energy to appreciate or acknowledge how hard that I had worked, how hard that my team had worked to get here, because I was still thinking it wasn't good enough. I'm still thinking I'm on to the next thing. I didn't have time to really celebrate that win, right? And so my therapist asked me a question, and I want you all to think about this. She asked me, who am I outside of my work? I couldn't answer it. I could not answer it. And it made me angry, it made me disappointed, it made me sad because I worked so hard to build this career and this business, but what else did I have to show for myself in my life? Who are you outside of your work? Can everyone answer that in here? Think about it. I'm seeing some yes, which is great. I'm going to look straight and not answer the question. So I encourage you to just sit with that and really, truly think about that. Because 3 years ago, I did not have an answer. But today, I can say I'm a niece, I'm a granddaughter. My grandma's 89 years old. I'm a daughter. Not a girlfriend yet. Y'all know I'm working on that. I'm a friend, right? I'm a mentor. I'm a coach. I'm someone who does yoga. I'm someone who is an avid journaler. There's a lot more to me than just my work, but it took me some time to center myself and decenter everything else so that I could get back to me. That question also led to some other questions here. I'm just going to read these. I'm not going to answer every one, but I encourage you to just kind of sit with these questions and think about maybe which questions you need to sit with. Am I pushing myself to the brink to prove that I'm not weak? Am I afraid to ask for help because I see it as a weakness? Am I trying to avoid feelings of inadequacy by constantly working? Am I using work as a shield to protect myself from feeling hurt? Am I driven by a fear of failure rooted in past experiences? And the loudest question of them all, am I measuring my worth by external achievements? Something that I learned in therapy, again, is that overworking is a trauma response. Overworking is a trauma response, right? I grew up in a single-parent household. Shout out to all the single moms in here. Shout out to all the moms in here, period. But it is a thankless, tough job. And I started working at 15 because I didn't want to be a burden to her. I started overworking myself at 15 when I was in high school and everyone else was playing sports and doing these things. I was working at McDonald's, y'all, 30 hours a week. And then even when I left my hometown and came here at UNC Charlotte to go to college, I started my career in the public accounting industry. Anybody? I don't know if y'all are all tech people, right? So no public accounting here. Okay, we got one in the back. Whew. Right for you. And I mean, this goes for any industry as women, y'all, and there's a couple guys in here, so I want to include y'all in here as well. But we are dealing with microaggressions, we're dealing with bias, we are overlooked, we're overworked, we're underpaid, and we're undersupported. All of this leads to overworking. And we're using work to say, I need to be worthy of being valued here, of being seen, right? You don't have to do that anymore. So my deep attachment to overworking held my emotional well-being hostage. And my unhealthy relationship with work created an unhealthy relationship with myself. So much of me was wrapped up in my work that I didn't really have an attachment to who I truly was. When you strip all of the awards, all of the accolades, all of that away, right, what do we have to show for it? So, my personal invitation to you all today is to be brave. I love a framework, y'all. And if you ever have heard me speak before, you know I will use a framework because I want this to really resonate and you all leave remembering I need to be brave. So, do me a favor, turn to your neighbor and say, I need you to be brave. Okay. Now turn to your other neighbor and say, I am going to be brave. I love it. I love a mantra, y'all. So, what does being brave mean? Being brave means you are going to center yourself in your career. I'm going to explain why we are getting there. And why is this important? What's at stake if you don't? Reimagine wellness in your career like your life depends on it. And let me explain why. 46% of women report being consistently burned out at work, a rate higher than their male counterparts. Y'all, these companies are overworking us. Yep. 54% of women reported difficulty in achieving work-life integration, with many citing the inability to disconnect from work as a significant stressor. Even if we're working 8 hours a day, we might be spending a couple hours at night thinking about work, right? 58% of women feel that their success at work often comes at the expense of their personal well-being, indicating a need to redefine success to wellness. And then the last one here, and this is specifically for all my Black and brown girls in this room. If you look at the intersection of race and gender, things are even harder for us. 88% of women of color aspire to be promoted, yet they often face systemic barriers such as lack of mentorship and support, which hinders their career advancement and well-being. We are overachieving to get half. If y'all DM me, I'll share my socials at the end of this because I want to share this article with you all. It went viral. Did anybody see this article on? Okay, I'm going to send it to y'all. Just DM me. Okay. How being silently pissed off is fueling autoimmune disorders in women of color. We are not using our voices. We're not setting boundaries. We're not self-advocating. We're not saying no enough. And it is leading to physical pain, physical illness. So I've laid out all of the stats and I've shared what's at stake. Because if you don't work on how it's going to impact you emotionally and mentally, it may and can lead to your physical. So it's time for us to take our power back. So what do y'all think that means? Just throw out something. What do y'all think that means? Boundaries. Advocating.
Living authentically you.
Living authentically you. Prioritizing. Saying no. Who said being brave? All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on these. And again, I told y'all, we was going to get real deep, real vulnerable early on. So I hope the rest of the day is a little lighter. These are some red flags. And I just want to leave this here on the screen because these are some of the things that could be potentially impacting your emotional well-being and could keep you from self-centering in your career. Any of these stick out to y'all? If you feel comfortable, yell out the ones that do. Avoiding self-care. Heard a yell over here. People pleasing. Taking on too much. Focusing solely on money. I couldn't even step away to go spend the money I made, you know? Letting others define success. We're going to talk about that one in a second. Chasing titles. Avoiding boundaries. Not advocating for yourself. Comparing yourself to others, yes. We might as well just read them all, huh? Let's talk about this term, self-censoring. And I'm going to read this as a very fancy definition. The practice of focusing on oneself to maintain balance, alignment, and well-being in various aspects of life. It involves prioritizing personal needs, values, and boundaries to ensure that one's actions and decisions are in harmony with their overall sense of self and purpose. Simply put, achievement without alignment to self leads to shallow success. Now, I have been coaching hundreds of women now, again, for almost 10 years. And who is it over here? I think it was this lady in the black. What was the term that you yelled out, or the sentence? Letting others define your success. How many of us chose our major in college because our family said, you need to be that, right? Yep, I understand that. What about the people your boss, who said, you would be really good at this. We think you should do this. I think you should take this project on. I think you should lead this initiative. I don't want to do that. Or for, my black women in here, hey, do you want to be a part of the DEI committee? You want to lead DEI for our entire company? Now, if that is happening, y'all, just call us. This is what we do at Perfeqta. But too many times I've coached people who have gotten to a place in their career where they feel completely detached because they don't like what they're doing, they don't enjoy it, because they let other people define what their career path should look like. They let other people define what success looks like. And we don't want to do that anymore. Self-centering, what's your personal definition? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about that on your own. I want to share with you my own kind of personal definition of self-centering. 3 words for me: grow, flow, and glow. It's pretty easy, right? Grow for me means that I recognize that I am on a constant journey of evolution. I am not perfect, nor am I chasing perfectionism. There is more to life than where I am today, and I'm allowing myself to embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. Flow means I'm allowing myself to, 1, give myself grace, to know that mistakes will be made, that things may not go as planned, and that's okay. I used to be a very rigid person. I'm a Capricorn. I don't know if I have any Capricorn girls in here, but y'all know we like structure, okay? But I have learned to just go with the flow because it helps me to be really present in the moment and not so focused on the future. And then glow. I'm gonna always look good. If I have a busy day, if I'm feeling tired, if things are just too many problems out of my control, my hair is gonna be done, my nails are gonna be done. I'm gonna make sure that I am glowing because if you look good, you feel good, right? So for you, what's your personal definition of self-centering? Maybe it's words, maybe it's a phrase, maybe it's a mantra, maybe it's an affirmation, but I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. And here's a way that you all can think about that for yourself. Who is taking front center stage in your career right now? Who is dictating your career? Who is dictating your goals? Think about that. Now, reimagining. Again, the title is Reimagining Wellness, Self-Centering in Your Career. So reimagining is to envision something in a new or a different way, often by breaking away from traditional ideas or assumptions. It involves creatively rethinking possibilities and approaches, allowing for innovation and transformation in how we perceive and engage with a particular concept or situation. So, reimagining, simply put, is a different way of thinking, being, doing, and acting, right? So I want to invite you in, again, to be brave and to reimagine what wellness in your career, what self-centering in your career looks like for you. So I'm going to leave you all with the framework. Someone said a lot of these earlier, or you all have said a few of these. So we'll start with the first one, which is boundaries. What do you need to begin saying no to so that you can say yes to yourself. That's how I like to think about boundaries. What are the things that are keeping me from saying yes to myself? Now, I can give you all a list of different boundaries that you can set, but I think you can probably contextualize that for your career and for your life, right? But it could start with having a very structured night routine, morning routine, right? Not checking your phone when you first wake up, having dedicated time to check emails, because email is a job in itself. We all are master email checkers, right? But what are those boundaries you can set for yourself, right? For me, I really try to not take meetings on Fridays. I don't do meetings before 10 a.m. because you don't want to talk to me any earlier. You just don't. I will put my phone on D&D, and I will not respond to people. If I'm working, if I'm busy, if I need to be focused, I do have those boundaries set. And you have to be very unapologetic about those boundaries. In my coaching experience, I have helped women really think about boundaries that they can set. If you lead a team, right, people are always going to be asking you questions, asking you to review things. I know for me, we don't meet without an agenda. Because why? Why are we meeting? We're just going to sit there and ramble and talk? We need an agenda. And let's fill that agenda out before we meet and we have a very structured conversation, right? I asked my team to give me at least a day or 2 days to review things, right? I can't review 10 different things in an hour. I just can't do it, and that adds to stress. So maybe you need to set boundaries with your team if you manage a team. Maybe you need to set boundaries with your boss. If anyone is taking on too much work, you could say, hey, I love the work. Thank you for trusting me with all of this. However, I really want to sit down with you and talk through my priorities because there's a lot on my plate and I want to make sure I'm prioritizing the right things. Or you could say, look, if you want me to do, X, Y, Z, that's going to take away from these top priorities, A, B, C over here. Are you okay with that? So you do want to start setting boundaries with your team, with your boss, and I say also with yourself as well. Just because someone asks you to help them or do something, they may not need it done right away. The next one here is reflection. How can I use reflection to reconnect with my values, what I truly desire for myself, and visualize the future that I want? So I encourage you all to, after today, really take some time to maybe write a letter to yourself or write a vision of where do you want to be in, say, 5 years. You don't need to talk about the work. You can talk about the life that you want to experience, how you want to spend your time, the problems you want to solve. Really invoke all of the senses. What do you visualize? Like, what do you see? What do you hear? Right? Who are you with? But take the time to reflect. And daily reflection is also really important. Again, if you reach out to me, I'll share this with you. I have a self-care journal. I bought it on Amazon. It was like $9. There's also a 5-minute journal. So every morning, you write down 3 things you're grateful for, what would make the day go by really well, and then at the end of the day, you're reflecting on what actually went well today. What am I proud of? Because too many times, we're on to the next. But when you take the time to reflect, that will ensure you are focusing on yourself. You're going to have some me time, and you're going to give yourself some grace and also some well-deserved credit that you need. Action. How can I identify and overcome the fears that are holding me back from taking meaningful action? When it comes to you setting boundaries, what are you afraid of? When it comes to you making a career pivot, finding a new role, saying no, self-advocating, what are you truly afraid of? I love to play the best case and worst case scenario. I'll think about the best case scenario, but I'll also think about the worst case scenario. I had to think about it when I came up here, right? Worst case scenario is y'all could boo me, you could throw things at me, you could just leave and say, we don't like this, right? And if that happens, it will suck. I mean, y'all are not doing that, which I'm grateful for. But again, allowing yourself to think about worst case scenario will allow yourself to say, you know what, it's not going to be that bad. And even if it is okay. And the last one here is village. Well, there's one more. I don't know where the E is, but I know what it is. Village is how can I lean on my community more and cultivate relationships that support me through not only my successes, but my setbacks. This V also goes with vulnerability. Vulnerability. You do not have to hold it all together on your own all the time. And as women, we do feel as though that is something that we have to do. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. It's okay to lean on your friends. It's okay to say, hey, can you hold space for me? I'm just having a hard time. This was also something that I learned in therapy because when I tell y'all, people were really putting me on a pedestal. And whenever I saw folks, they would say, oh my gosh, Latesha, you're killing it. You're doing this, you're doing that. And again, y'all know where I was 3 years ago. I was stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted. And it's just like, why do y'all think I'm so perfect? To a point where I felt like people were dehumanizing me because I wasn't being vulnerable. Let's stop pretending that things are perfect, that we are perfect. It is okay to not be okay. And it's important to find people in your life that will support you, not when things are up, but also when things are down. Now, the last letter is E, energy. Energy. I am big on energy management, time management, and I've coached a lot of people to embrace that. Because you can look at your energy like a budget, right? I don't like the word budget. I'm going to say spending plan. Budget feels restrictive. Look at your energy like a spending plan and recognize when your energy is higher, when it's going to be lower, when you need to take breaks. We are human beings. We're not human doings, so we're not meant to work and go hard 24/7, right? I'm a morning person. So I was up today at like 5:30. I was up yesterday at 5:30. I'm a morning person. So I know for me, that's when my mind is the sharpest. So I try to get my most critical thinking tasks done when my energy in my brain is at its freshest, right? Now, if you catch me after lunchtime, I don't have anything for you. Just don't. So you start paying attention to your energy, right? And something that I've encouraged my clients to do is every hour, just write down how you're feeling. If that's something you never really paid attention to, and then that way you can really restructure your work and your task towards when your energy is at its peak. And then use that time when your energy is a little bit lower to maybe do some of those easier tasks like the checking of emails that we do every day. So I shared some red flags, and I want to just leave us here with some green flags. Setting boundaries, advocacy, I think I have already yelled many of these out. Delegating wisely. If someone asks you to do something, hey, I think Susie would be great at that. It's not me. Celebrating those small wins, prioritizing mental health, and mental health days as well. Let me just say this, you do not need to go on a big grand vacation to the Bahamas or to the Cayman Islands or wherever to take some PTO. Just take a day for yourself. You can just sit at home if you want and stare at the wall, right? Take your time. A lot of us do not take our PTO, and it may not roll over. So take your time. Take time off. Find activities and things you can do to fill your cup up. So I've shared a lot today. I hope this has been helpful. And I want to leave y'all here with this quote that I read on social media. Don't be scared to start over. You might like your new story better. So as you think about reimagining wellness, integrating some of these practices that we've talked about today and self-centering, push past the fear, right? I always say I would rather live with fear than regret because what's on the other side is going to be better than you ever imagined. Thank you. I do want to just I don't know if we have time for questions, but whatever is how the schedule's going to go, I'll leave that up to you. I do want to say quickly, I do have a career wellness toolkit. It is a free guide. It gives you a list of like 20 or 30 self-care wellness habits you can integrate into your daily practices. So if you scan this QR code, my social media is here as well. And then we will also be vending and selling the Career Journal for Women. I created this 4 years ago. It has about 50 journal prompts, 20 affirmations in here. So come check us out or say hi at the table this afternoon. Thanks.